Easy.
thing
No
in.
swearing this early in.
It's hard to care after you just won the radio game.
Wow.
You know?
We're still tied. So you
true.
can
So
try to be the champion.
Every game, is the rubber match from here on out. Has
Listen.
anybody repeated back to back? Well,
No.
not you or I.
We're usually the only ones on the podcast.
I feel a little bad because there was one that my brother won that we won't air because it was so negative. So,
But I don't think it was back-to-back winning for him.
you might be right. But anyway, he still didn't get credit for it, but it shouldn't have been so negative. You can keep talking. Is this on?
Is this thing on?
All right. Well, you go ahead and introduce us because I got to.
No, I was going to bring up that Troy Aikman must be listening to our podcast. Did you listen to that game?
Did you say ascertain?
No, he said these are the Mount Rushmore of owners in his conversation.
Did the guy that he was with go, what do you mean by that? I don't understand.
He did say it, and then he explained.
What the hell, really?
Yeah, he explained why he thought those owners were.
Was it Joe Buck?
It was
Did
Joe
he go,
Buck.
So you're telling me Teddy Roosevelt owned a football team? Come on. Come on, Troy. You've been hitting the head too often. No?
He just said expand on that, and Troy said, well, they put a lot into their hometowns and take care of their team, and they just all around good owners.
Okay, I'll tell you who they are. Jerry Jones.
No, Jerry Jones was not.
Troy Aikman did a list without Jerry Jones on it?
Yes. I just thought that was kind of
Good
cool
on.
that we were talking about it, and then
Well,
Troy Aikman steals our...
He probably did. He calls all the time. It's annoying. He goes, hey, do you think I'm better than Tony Romo? And I'm like, God, no. Anyway, quit calling, Troy. And then he'll call back and he'll ask me about my car warranty. And then, if I voted and shit like that. And I'm just like, come on, man. I'm going to block you pretty soon, Troy Aikman. Ascertainers don't play like that. Oh, no. I left my wallet upstairs again. I got $1 in it, too. I'll bring it down later. I'll bring my $1 down, I promise. Actually, pay for me and I'll give you one upstairs. And I can't do the stairs too many times because you can make change with a 20 out of there. There's so much money in there right now.
I'll just put it in there, Wimpy.
Anyway, hey, everybody, we're the Ascertainers. You're in the right classroom. We are a international podcast, meaning we have like 12 countries that have listened to us based on our stats from our little company called Buzzsprout that brings this to you. Anyway, it's Jim. I'm Jim. That's Mark.
Hello, everyone.
Mark's idea, totally. This is episode 85. I feel like it's going to blow your hair back because I think it's going to be fun. And so... deal with it. Buckle up.
Wow.
And away we go. Mark.
You're putting a lot of pressure on us to deliver
It's you. I know. I just did. I'm done. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette and lay in my satin robe that I'm wearing, or as I always wear.
Please close it.
Well, I tell you what. Speaking about Mount Rushmore, we have had great deliberation. We talked for like 3 minutes about it. So tonight we're going to do another Mount Rushmore, meaning our goal is to find what would be considered the top 4 albums from 1978. So that what is generally considered is the mark of a Mount Rushmore. Now, we also decided that we don't have to finish Mount Rushmore tonight. Well, I decided this. And Mark didn't argue it. So whatever bands we find commonality with or we can agree belong as the top 2 or 3 or whatever it turns out to be, they'll be there and they will stay there. And then we can revisit it. Like maybe when we get a guest on, we can ask them to, hey, what do you think of 1978? What albums do you think were really great that year? Maybe we can get consensus that way. So anyway, I bought Mount Rushmore stock, okay?
You did?
I gotta...
How many more times do you have to say it?
I got to move some Mount Rushmore. And just remember, it's not Mount Styxmore. So anyway, Rush fans unite.
This was easier for me to do my homework for because Jim said, just pick what you were listening to at that time that you loved. And that's easier for me than thinking about what would be on Mount Rushmore. But I think 2 of these bands will be on our Mount Rushmore.
You can look at my list.
I think we do
that
have
one for
2.
sure. And then, I think I got them. Yeah, they're on there. So anyway, does it start with a letter after I? Oh, that's going to take him forever. Anyway.
No.
I have some errors and omissions. I'm meaning some things to talk about from the last episode. And also shout outs. So I want to do a big shout out to Feegee. That's who did actually my kid and another member of Feegee did our theme music. And there's not a lot of podcasts that have original theme music, and we really appreciate it. And I think we
do appreciate
somewhat, it maybe sounds like we take it for granted because we don't mention it or go on about it all the time. But we really appreciate those fellas, and I think they listen too. So shout out Feegee. Your t-shirts are on the way. Text me your sizes because I checked with my kid and he didn't get back to me. There's that. Pat K sent us an email.
He did.
Always love seeing a Pat K email.
Wonderful.
The guy says like 3 words a year, but boy, he can email. He sings like a chickadee on those things. So
what did the email say, Jim?
It said something about that the invention, my Shark Tank invention, already exists, and a bunch of other stuff that's not favorable to me too. What the hell, Pat? So anyway, we got to get Pat on.
He did say something nice about me.
You will love Pat. Oh, he said something nice about Mark? I
I
forgot it. Why don't you tell the people what he said?
Well, Jim, not so good, but Mark, you're doing great.
Terrific, I think he said. So
I knew that, but I just wanted you to say it.
Right. I think I'm very mad at the last episode that I missed one of my favorite albums from 1977, and it was the Eponymous, which means what, Mark?
It's like an animal that hangs out in the African.
You're thinking alpaca.
Oh.
No. Eponymous meaning self-titled, named after oneself. The Eddie Money debut album, and it was titled Eddie Money. Really, really good.
What was on there?
Oh, 2 Tickets to Paradise, Hold On. And there were a couple of covers that were good. You're killing me. You're putting me in the spot, and I'm choking.
I do like Eddie Money, but I didn't think that his album would be, unless that's what you listen to a lot. I didn't think it was a great.
There was a friend of my brother Steve's used to pick me up from, he was like, I told the story before, I think. Mitch, he worked at the junior high as like a teacher's aide or something. He was a senior in high school. I'm in 9th grade. But like during the track season, because I was a 9th grader on the track team.
Where's the story going?
That I used to be skinny. Anyway, no, but Mitch would give me rides to up to the high school. Oh, you're thinking that? Yeah, well, that happened too. But anyway.
You said this guy used to pick me up. And he's a teacher's assistant. And I was thinking, let's just go on. You don't want to tell this story.
I still write him letters. He doesn't get them all, I don't think. But anyway, he would play Eddie Money and just crank it up. But I was like a cool kid leaving the junior high because I was getting a ride to the high school from this guy. So anyway, oh God.
So you had fond memories.
This story is not aging well. I'll
no.
tell you that. No. But anyway, I did want to, so the album is good. It's not like the whole point I brought it up. What I wanted to bring up was what a genius name he gave himself. Eddie Money. That's a fucking formidable name. And I thought of a couple of, what if he also could have gone with like Bob Pizza or Tony Sex, or for you, Stewart Pegging, because it's just stuff that everybody likes and everybody wants more of. That, all right, that's all I had on
The
that.
last one probably wouldn't work because of back in 77. I don't think.
It was new, brand new.
Or not even part of the underworld.
It was like Big Bells and what are those called? Moon shoes?
Moon shoes?
Earth shoes.
Earth shoes.
Earth shoes, yeah.
I thought there were moon shoes also.
Moon boots.
Moon boots.
Yes. Another good name for a band. Anyway, okay. Well, what I thought would be funny fell flat again. Do you have anything to talk about from the last episode?
No, I did great.
I agree. I kind of liked the last episode, even though it wasn't real. There's nothing really stood out. I thought it had a nice little flow, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I won the radio game. I guess I was only focusing on that mostly. And tonight, I have an opportunity
to repeat.
Go back to back.
Wow.
You only get one. Well, you only get one. Whatever. You know what I'm about to say. So you go ahead and fill in the blank. We'll just be quiet for a little bit, and you can figure out what I was trying to say. We went to the corporate office tonight.
Yes.
We confronted our people that we kind of gave a hard time to 2 episodes ago, and they decided they went from wouldn't know a podcast if it bit us in the ass to, hey, I guess I already have that app. What's the name of it? So they're going to start listening. So we better.
I don't think they are. They're not going to go.
You still don't think
effort,
so? Is this like a challenge?
Yeah.
John and Jill was it, or Julie?
Jill.
If you're listening, you come this far, you can stop because we're gonna. Anyway, it was fine. They think the corner of the bar is theirs, and that's the second time they've said that. And I'll just say that
it's ours.
First come, first serve. I like our chances 3 against 2. Me and Mark and my first wife Chris against you and Jill. I think we could. I think we'd get that corner, but we're not going to come to blows. It was his birthday. We bought him a beer, so we're not like tyrants. We're not like evil people.
No, we buy our friends.
We what?
We buy our friends.
Yes, so that makes us friends. I bought you a beer. You drank it. You took a sip.
He did.
Friends. What weekend is it?
Halloween weekend?
It's turn back the clocks.
Fall back,
which means darkness. It's going to be dark at 5 o'clock.
On the edge of town.
This is even worse than that. Actually, I like that album. I just don't like Bruce Springsteen anymore. But it's funny that this is the weekend where you turn the clocks back. Because I walked in after we got to the house. Sometimes Mark will come down to the basement and we'll, set up the laptop and stuff. And I'll talk to my wife and stuff. And I come down tonight and he's got some black shoe polish and he's like rubbing it all over his swimsuit zone. And I go, Mark, no, it's turn the clocks back.
Ah.
I heard that on Garage Logic, Joe Souchere's joint, and they told it much better. So I've tried 2 scripted jokes, and I'm not funny.
No, you're more of an unscripted comedian.
There you go. For those that think that any of the things we do are on purpose.
You are a counterpuncher comedian.
Okay. Would you like to do the radio game?
Let's finish Newt's. We had a very nice dinner.
Thank you. Let's say something positive about Newt's, not just about the people sitting there.
Yeah, we had a great time, great meal. So if you ever want...
What'd you have?
I had a fish sandwich tonight. Very good.
I think when she was ringing it up, she kind of gave a quick turn back like,
what?
Can you eat fish? Like, we don't have Beyond Fish. So, because Mark doesn't eat meat. He's a pescatarian.
Yeah, very nice.
You're like, wait, what? He said the right thing. So, but he does eat fish and eggs and what else? Human?
Cheese, dairy.
Cheese, dairy. Dairy?
Dairy.
My friend Dairy?
Yeah, he is handsome.
Dairy from The Outsiders. Older brother.
That was Daryl.
Daryl. Call him Dairy.
Did they?
Yeah, the cool kids did. You were probably like a Soch. You probably
I was a Soch.
Daryl. Tell Daryl meet us here for that rumble. Yeah, I had the San Diego Smash Burger, and I'm starting to think, I thought the jalapeno popper burger was my favorite burger. I think it's the San Diego Smash.
That's a tough one. I do like the popper burger.
Have you ever had the San Diego Smash?
I have.
It's like a California burger, but they're getting pretty good at the smash thing. That's kind of the whole rage these days. So they have 3 smash burgers on the menu. The Okie Smash, which is kind of like a big White Castle to me, a little gooey, like a lot of like some kind of garlic aioli or something on it. It's really delicious, but bring a beach towel because it's a little messy. Then there's the San Diego Smash and the jalapeno popper smash, and then they have like 12 other burgers that are just more like a traditional burger. They're not the double smash patty.
I thought tonight that yours actually looked like a smash burger.
Yeah,
they actually went through the whole...
Had the skirt.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah, it was good. Very tasty. Like crunchy on the edges.
Yes.
So, yeah. Newt's tots with mustard, by the way. Yummy. Very good tots. I know tots are a controversial potato product, but yum.
Yeah.
They're good. Talk to the GM. Core came out, chatted him up, got him to laugh. Good times. Talk socks with a lot of people at the bar.
We did.
And one guy, just out of the nowhere, because I made one comment to Mark about white socks. I go, nobody really wears those anymore. And then he found out that his kids also feel the same way. So I asked this stranger next to me, him and this other buddy were playing pull tabs.
Your comment was very hurtful on the golf course.
What'd I say?
You said something like, you look like an idiot with
I
your
never
white
would say
socks.
that. I would say, nobody wears white socks. What are you doing wearing white socks?
But you did
I think you came up with that whole idiot part in your head. I'm not saying I wasn't thinking. I just would never say something like that.
You said something derogatory leading up to it.
And?
You were correct, but it's still very hurtful.
This is like, it hurts. The truth hurts sometimes. And
are we going through therapy? There you go. Breakthrough.
At some point, you're going to say, Jim, you know what? You could use an extra trip up the steps every minute.
At least to get the dollar bill once in a while.
Oh, did you put it for me?
I did.
Okay, I hope I don't forget to grab that dollar.
You will if you win. You'll say, "I'll just take that dollar," and then we're even.
I have been out the whole time. Whoops, the daisy. So I plan on winning again. So I'll just not take out. It'll be my. That's the strategy.
That is.
And then you would be able to take $1 back. I would take that dollar. I'll give it to you. It's going to be great. It's going to be like watching when that princess chick got married. What's her name?
Apollonia?
Yep. Princess, not princes.
I thought you said...
That was a good one, though.
Did you say princess?
I said princes. I said princess. But I thought the Apollonia was pretty creative.
Thank you.
I can do it. Not gonna take it away if I say it for you. But anyway. It feels good not to have done that. I feel fantastic.
I don't feel any pain from it either.
At first I didn't think I could, but then I went ahead and just did.
You are really a good person.
Oh, Mark thinks it's opposite day still. All right, I see what you did there.
And Sarah wasn't there. Beth was working.
Beth was working her little patootie off. She was so. Corey, general manager Corey, number one Ascertainer supporter Corey, says that it has to do with how early it gets dark. That's or the weather and the sunset. It has to do with when they get busy earlier. But the last 2 weeks we have lucked out getting seats 3 at the bar. Usually it's Mark, myself, and my first wife Chris. Have we adequately talked about Newt's? We talked about the food, the service, the beer. Newt's is your number one, Apple Valley's number one burger.
Emporium. Oh, I didn't know we were going to go through that. I thought we already did the cold beer.
We didn't.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Let's redo it.
Let's do it in the opposite.
Okay.
You can start.
Newt's is your...
Apple Valley's number one. I'll just do it. Apple Valley's number one.
Burger.
Awesome burger.
I'm sorry. Cold beer. I screwed it up again.
Hot popcorn.
Pull tabs.
Emporium. I did the thing.
I know. He spun his finger around like...
We'll try it one more time, and you can edit that one out.
Let's do it one more time, and we'll leave that in there. We'll show people a little bit behind the curtain of a podcast.
They're like, we're good. We're just going to go get something to eat. Okay. Newt's is Apple Valley's number one gourmet burger.
Cold beer.
Hot popcorn.
Pull tabs. Emporium.
Newt's.
We did it.
I like that one.
All right,
that was good. Don't make me stand up. No. That would be bad. Radio game? You going to do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Radio game is a little thing we came up with about 80 episodes ago. We have a local radio station. Mark and I will guess 4 bands. And if one of those 4 bands is playing on that radio station at the time where we pick up this little earbud that we have on this tiny little radio over here, then that person would win. And usually it doesn't happen. But last week, Styx Renegade was on, and I picked Styx. So this is a very important week because I have a chance to go 2 for 2 that nobody's. I'll have a chance to be a repeat winner, which has not been done thus far. So, Mark, why don't you tell me your first 2 bands, which will be bands that most people have heard of, and then the second 2 bands will be maybe a little bit more less known.
Okay, I'll do Led Zeppelin and AC/DC with Bon Johnson. Shoot, I thought I could sneak that in
That's
there.
a good one. That was a real little Bon Johnson. Yeah. Those are delicious. You get them at the that Vietnamese place, right? Bon Johnson. That sounds illegal. I think you're going to actually have to go to Thailand. You can get those in Thailand.
Can you?
I think it's I don't know if that's exactly how they say it, but okay. So I'm going to Cheap Trick in Chicago. I'm going with bands that start with ch. All right, who's your lesser knowns?
Lee Michaels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
I know what you mean.
T-Rex.
Ooh. I'm going with April Wine and the Plymouth Souls.
Enlighten me.
You'll know it when you hear it. Pop it in. Let's see what you got.
You do it because you heard
Okay.
it last time, and I want you to win 2 in a row.
I bet it's on a different station.
I would never do that.
One of Mark's favorite bands. There's no duplicate winner. I bet Mark's pissed right now.
Oh, yeah. I
Super
should've picked
Tramp,
them.
Long Way Home. Great, unique band. Total Ascertainers type band. But nay. There was not to be a winner tonight. I owe you $1. And I'd say the pot is probably over $40 by now. And we have a guest. Next week, the plan is that we'll have one of my neighbors, not Mark's, but Jeff S. is scheduled to come on. I see no reason why he wouldn't, but he's got 3 kids that are active, so maybe something will come up. But he's a Scotty, and I think we might talk about kind of the state stereotypes or something, unless we can come up with something, more interesting. I'll tell you what, if you've laughed with yesterday, I don't want to build him up too high, but you'll probably have a couple good laughs with him on. He's got
Very nice
he's
guy.
got a real nice sense of humor on him.
He lived in the neighborhood when I lived in the neighborhood, so I do know who he is.
Yes. Hey-o. All right, you want to get into the 1978 albums? There's
We do,
hardly any
because
good
you
ones.
are chomping at the bit to get to this.
How do you spell chomping? No, some people spell it C-H. I think it's actually spelled C-H-A-M-P-I-N-G, even though it's pronounced chomping. To me, it would be like a horse chomping, like chewing on the bit. But I think that like an English spelling or something. But
it comes from the.
If only we could look that up.
It comes from the bit that in the horse's mouth.
I think so. Sometimes you get like mushrooms and there's like stems and bits. It might be that. You ever been hungry? You ever smoked pot? I've done it. I've chomped a bit. Chomping at the bit. What does it say right there? So I typed in C-H-O-M-P-I-N-G at the bit.
They corrected you?
First thing comes up, Merriam-Webster. Champing at the bit is waiting in an impatient way to do something. That's it.
But it doesn't say the origin.
No. What do you, is it a fucking spelling bee?
Well, I thought we were looking that up.
I was chomping at the bit to quit this podcast. Origin, I can't think of anything. All right. Did I mention that we thank our listeners because we've got we surpassed 2,800 downloads? I have a question. Whoever is in Highland, New York, send us an email. I thought I knew who you were, but then I looked up where Highland, New York was. I don't think that I know where you are or who you are.
Well, I'm glad you remembered that because I was supposed to bring that up.
There's a person or a whatever, a bot maybe. Please don't be a bot. I don't want a bot.
Is that where bots live?
The big bot farm there. Did you ever hear the, oh my God, we have one listener to this one. It's from Sweden, a Swedish guy. Send us an email. You're the only fucking person that's listened so far. Send us an email. Tell us who you are, what you are. Have you been to the Penis Museum? By the way, did you like that in the write-up?
I did.
It's called the Phallological Museum. It's a real thing.
I know it.
We should get them to sponsor.
I've walked by it because it's right downtown Reykjavik.
Walk me through this. So you just walked by and you had to make a phone call. You had to use the bathroom. Why'd you go in?
It's right on the pier. It's right. It's the only thing on that pier.
What could be more phallic than a pier, by the way? That's almost overkill. So the phallic museum is on a pier?
Yes.
Wow. That really takes balls. Anything?
Hey-o.
I realize
Wow.
that I talk so much.
That was a
I
nice...
never have time to drink. I'm on my first beer. Because I feel like I talk the whole time. And I feel like you're okay with that. But I don't think the listener is.
Nobody is.
When I say listener, I mean the person from Sweden. Are you a boy? Are you a girl? Are you old? Are you young? Are you? Do you have any friends you can tell? If we get two here, I'd like to. You don't have to send us an email, but I'd like you to make a friend listen. So next week it'll be 2 listeners from Sweden, and then I will literally either eat my hat or take a shit during the episode. Not like where you can hear it. I'll run upstairs. And anyway, I think it would be really cool. Wow, that got dark quick, didn't it?
Wow, even that.
So if you tell, okay, here's how we'll do it. We'll do it on a sliding scale. So Swedish listener, if next week if by this time next week, if I see that 2 people have listened from Sweden, I will shotgun a beer on air. 16-ounce Coors Light, no cheat. I'll hammer the whole thing. If it is, if we get 3 listeners, what was that?
I don't know.
Mark edited that in, whatever it is. If we get 3 listeners from Sweden, I will do a cartwheel during the podcast, and you have no idea how not limber or fit I am. So you will hear bones snapping, cartilage tearing. It's totally worth it.
I have never shotgunned a 16-ounce beer. I've done a 12.
I think you'll do just fine. You don't got to do it. It's just on me.
No, it was just something I used to shotgun beer in my younger days. But
you kind of shotgun them from the top. I've seen you drink a fucking beer. You shotgun it without having to have an extra hole in it. You just hammer it down. Have you seen the guys that take the bottle of beer and they put it up to their mouth and then they do the swirl so it kind of tornadoes in? Wow. How thirsty were you? So anyway, Sweden, you know what to do. Look forward to either an email or a couple more listeners from your part of the world. Highland, New York. Who are you? Don't tell another listener because it won't be as obvious because actually, I don't know if oh yeah, you could too. Highland, you could do the same thing because we get like the single episode information and we would know if there were 2. But I think
so if the Highland guy got a Swedish guy, you would still shotgun the beer?
I will say this. If you can demonstrate somehow, some way, and we'll look as hard as we can. I will shotgun a beer.
Which is not very hard.
Shut the fuck up. I'll shotgun as many beers as it takes to grow our fan base. I'm willing to put in the work.
I like it.
We want to increase by 1 per country. I think that's, and then they tell 2 friends.
Right.
And so on, and so on, and so on. But the person who I thought was the Highland listener was a guy named Carlos. But then I looked at where Highland, New York is compared to where Carlos lives. And I know he drives a little for work, but.
Carlos is going, what the hell?
Carlos, I didn't use your last name, Carlos.
No, that he's the listener and you're going, why is he discounting me?
I said, I think it's him, but I thought that it might not be him. So if it's him, he can just send me a text. Hey, it is me. Or I could send him a text too. Oops. Forgot about that 2-week communication. But anyway.
Well, that's you putting in the work.
Couldn't even say the whole fucking thing without laughing, could you? All right. 1978, pretty good year for music. Arguably. See, but I think people that are like 70 years old, so if they're 10 years older than us, you'd probably say 1968. Because the time that this music came out, right? Was when you were a fucking teenager and smoking your marijuana and burning your flags and, that kind of stuff. That's what they did in 68, didn't they?
Yeah.
I was 4 years old in '68. So you, on the other hand, you were draft dodging. So that's congrats. I'm glad you got through it.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. I'm going to just, we only have a few minutes left here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and say that I think arguably the best album, well, I think it was the best album from 1978 was by a band called, hope I say it right, Van Halen. And it was their debut eponymous album.
That's what VH1 stands for.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you have MTV as your second favorite one? So you said you had some thoughts on Van Halen?
Doing research for tonight.
Mm-hmm.
VH1 was the top of my list also. So I looked at David Lee Roth because Jim makes fun of David quite a bit.
David Lee Roth as a 20... By the way, when Van Halen 1 was put out, meaning in 1978, David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen were both 23 years of age. So that would imply, you could infer that they were 22 when they recorded it, and who knows when they wrote it.
Right.
You got your whole life to write your first album and 1 year to write your second. So anyway, but pretty impressive work for some young folks.
Yes.
They don't sound like 22-year-olds, I'll tell you that. They sound like fucking forces of nature.
But I watched California Girls, the video, and there was a good editing and directing that he looks pretty cool in that.
He does. He always looked good in his videos. I'm talking about on stage.
That's
where things kind of fell apart for me.
That one, he was really impressive. Because then he came out with Just a Gigolo. And I think he was trying to look goofy in that one because he came across as a complete idiot.
You hope that he was trying to look goofy, but then he kind of just turned out that way. So maybe that was maybe he thought that was a serious, we thought it was a parody, and he was like, best work to date. So, okay. To name a favorite song from Van Halen 1, it's so goddamn hard. But Little Dreamer hits my brain probably more often than most.
Mine would be Feel Your Love Tonight.
Another banger. Jamie's Crying is fantastic. I guess I kind of like the You Really Got Me and Running with the Devil are kind of
overplayed, so it kind of takes
it's kind
it
of
away
like Stairway.
from,
It's like, you expect to...
But with the first time you heard that stuff, it was phenomenal.
You were kind of like numb by the time you got through those, so the other ones took a while to really start to absorb or whatever. But phenomenal album. Mark, why don't you tell me what the other one that you think that will have an agreement?
The Cars.
I have the Cars on my list. I was thinking you'd say something different, but the first Cars album, I remember you go.
We talked about this earlier because you brought up that was their probably best album, and then I said Candy O, but they're so close.
There's another topic we can do. Best first two albums by a band.
Oh yeah, we could.
Because there's a couple on the list tonight that could get there, but so that kind of came. This was about when the new wave was coming over, and I swear to God, I thought the Cars were British, and they're from like Boston or something. So that was fun.
And they are not a live band.
That's what they say. I've seen some live footage where they just seem kind of like they're not a show band, but they were into it. Because I had heard that they looked just bored and just were standing there and stuff. They were kind of into it, but they weren't David Lee.
And they're not going to go into long 20-minute guitar solos. They're going to play the music like you heard it.
Yes, that was, I think, a knock was that I think they tried to be very true to what the studio recording. I think some people, when they see it live, they want to hear a little embellishment and a little, put a little stank on it that you wouldn't get.
But something like Moving in Stereo, that was something that you didn't hear before. It was
true,
different.
And where else did you hear that in addition to on that album?
I don't know.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, I don't.
Swimming pool scene.
Oh, is that maybe that's why it's in my brain?
That's you can't help that, Mark. That's science. That's nature right there. So hang on. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, Cars is a And I feel bad I don't have the song list. So I think it was. But here's what was funny though. I didn't know that Benjamin Orr sang on about half of those songs.
Right.
There was almost an even split. Rico Kasich, or whatever his name was, and then Benjamin Orr.
He was more of the soulful.
Yes. I thought Rico Kasich had kind of more of that punk kind of like a speaking, singing, with just kind of a weird intonation on it. But yeah, just Best Friend's Girl, just what I needed is probably my favorite song off that album. But did you write any down?
Bye Bye Love.
Yes.
Good Times Roll.
Yes.
All I Got Tonight.
You're All I've Got Tonight.
All Mixed Up. Which the Bye Bye Love, All Mixed Up, and Moving in Stereo were kind of the new wave sound that I thought.
I thought all of it had the. So I think we're going to have three that'll make that we'll have in common. I think we're going to get a lot more Mount Rushmore filled in than we thought. Because I'm going to hit you with my third one.
Yeah, do it.
After I'm going to get the track listing. This is the key. Now, on your next one, while we're talking, dig up your track listing for whatever your next.
I'm ready.
Oh, with the next. Well, here. Well, let me do mine. Journey Infinity.
Nope.
No.
Not even on my list.
Wow. Owen Wilson. Wow. Wow, I thought you'd be more of a Journey guy.
I am not a Journey guy at all. Never have been. I think that's
Get
been brought
out
up.
of my basement. All right, well, for those that are cool and Journey fans, it starts off with Lights, then Feeling That Way, then Anytime, a little something called La Do Da, and then Patiently. Oh, that could push Aerosmith's, what did I say was their best one? Shit, now I can't think of it. It was that good. It was that good that I forgot it.
Mama Ken.
Yep, that was it. Anyway, Patiently is you'll like either lactate or have your period if you're a dude. If you listen to that song, it's that.
I think I brought this
good.
up before. The only time I listened to it was on dates.
That makes sense then why you would not like it.
Well, I only heard it once.
See? Then Wheel in the Sky, Something to Hide, Winds of March, Can Do, and then Open the Door. I listened to the shit out of that record. That was a good one. What is the... Goddamn. I gotta look at the Journey one real quick, man. Since you got nothing to add on Journey Infinity, do your next one while I look up what the goddamn Aerosmith one.
I'll let you look that up because I thought you would have this one on. Maybe.
I probably do.
Dire Straits.
No, I don't. Because I started listening to Dire... Does that have Sultans of Swing on it?
Yeah.
Oh, but I just didn't listen to it until later. The only song I listened to was Sultans of Swing because it was on the radio.
I bet you listened to Down to the Waterline.
On the radio. And then, but not Romeo and Juliet or...
That's not on there.
Tunnel of Love is probably on the album Tunnel of Love.
The only one that's not played very often but is a great tune is Wild West End.
Okay.
I think you brought this up before. They were hurt by their own sound because you know immediately who's singing the song.
Wow. Tell me more. This is like peeling an onion, Mark. You just said something brilliant. My hand is cupping my chin right now as I listen to Mark. And don't ask what my other hand is doing, but it looks like it's...
it's cupping something.
It looks like it's holding a small apple. You said they were hurt by their own sound?
Yes.
Okay. This just turned into a psychiatrist session or a therapy session here. I'll tell you why I think hurt them. And
go ahead.
But it was fucking music for dudes. Chicks not a lot of girls in my circle were like, oh yeah, put that new Dire Straits on. It was kind of like a We Don't Need Chicks kind of a theme to their songs, it seemed like early on. Maybe
I guess
wrong.
I never thought of that, but it might be very true.
You had so much time while you weren't on dates to think about this, but you were listening to Dire Straits, so you kind of lived.
I don't know what the girls were listening to either, so
yeah,
I'm at a loss.
In your case, they had like duct tape around their head. So, you've done 3.
I have.
Well, I had the Cars, I had Van Halen, A Journey. Don't Look Back by Boston. Another band where you could say their first 2 albums were their best work.
Yes. And another band that was a slave to their sound.
True, yeah. But they had that was the first, I think, exposure to a real ballad, The Man I'll Never Be. That was kind of like, oh my, a girl might like this music. I don't know why I keep bringing up girls. 1978, I couldn't attract a girl if there's probably some cute line I could say behind that, but I was in the awkward phase in 1978.
Still now.
I know, worse, awkward, est. But I also think in 78, did the LRB not come out with Reminiscing in 78? I just never listened to that album. That was more of a single. But I think Baker Street came out. Jerry Rafferty, I don't know what the name of the record is, or the album is, but.
Yeah, that was, what's his other one? Hit.
Right Down the Line?
Those are the only two off of that album, so I didn't count it.
But listening to the radio back then was really, really easy to do. There was just there weren't a lot of bad songs, unless you got, like there was some disco stuff that was still kind of hanging on. Or was that just getting started? Now, I think disco was like 76.
Yeah, so I think it was bring all your disco stuff to...
Oh, Disco Destruction?
Yeah.
Could be. What else you got there, Tiger?
Have you done all four?
Those were my four. My four were Van Halen, Journey Infinity, The Cars, and Don't Look Back, in no order other than Van Halen's first.
This last one of mine is, Jim said, pick what you were listening to and you loved at the time. So I'm going to go with George Thorogood, Move It On Over.
I was convinced it would be Tommy Bolin.
So,
because...
I'll have to check. I don't think it came out in 78.
So what's on Move It On Over? Is one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer on that?
No, but
really?
Move It On Over is.
What?
Imagine that. Who Do You Love?
Yes.
And then his version of Sky is Crying was the first time I heard that song.
He did The Sky is Crying?
Yeah, it's very good.
That would be way before Stevie Ray Vaughan did it.
Yes.
I did not know that. I got to listen to it. Is he that good a guitarist, though?
No. He's a minimalist. If you can get away with playing the same note over and over again and still sounding great, I mean, getting the crowd into it. So he's B.B.
King.
He's an entertainer.
Like B.B. King would play that one little signature note on Lucille ad nauseum. But all right.
And he did a version of Cocaine Blues.
Oh, yeah.
Which is awesome.
That I know more than... I never heard The Sky's Crying, right? Sky's Crying.
You've heard that song,
but by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, and It Wasn't Me. That's a signature.
I met a German girl in England who was going to school in France, so we danced in Mississippi at a Kappa Alpha dance. It wasn't me. Yes, that's a tune, baby. I'm with you. I'm not going to fight you on that one. All right, I'm going to go with Cheap Trick, Heaven Tonight. Good songs. I think so. Well, for sure. Surrender's on it. California Girls. Yeah. You want me to wrap her up?
Well, list all the ones you have.
All right. So I also had The Police, Alanis D'Amour with Roxanne. You're not a fan?
No.
All right. And then I had Foreigner, Double Vision. And I had Queen Jazz. So.
And my two are, you're going to go, to me, Molly Hatchet.
That's not a That's
Gator Country.
That's not a that's a yeah.
And Dreams I'll Never See.
Danny Joe Brown.
And then Al Stewart.
You're the Cat?
No, Time Passages.
That was the name of the album?
Yeah.
How cool was the Molly Hatchet album cover? Didn't it have like this big fucking...
Sitting on a horse, a
Battle
knight.
Clydesdale. Yeah, it looked like death.
Yes.
But then the music was so upbeat. I mean,
it was
Southern rock.
It might have been upbeat, but it was so loud and so driving that it would scare you.
Yeah. They were kind of like, they were trying to like one up Leonard Skinner-ish, if you will, kind of faster but great guitars. Danny Joe Brown was a singer, died, I think, of diabetes. That's not a good thing if you're a rock star to have the diabetes, because the touring lifestyle is not real in sync with that kind of treatment. But
I did see Molly Hatchet in concert at a small venue. It was like a high school auditorium. It seemed that way. And they had all the speakers for a arena show.
Her people's hair all fucking blown back.
I think my heart stopped a couple of times because they were playing with my heart off rhythm. And
chaperoning a dance there, Mark? Or what were you doing at a high school? When?
No, I wasn't at the high school. It was at my college, but it was in their small...
The same place you saw the Tubes play?
No, I went up to a college in Denver to see that.
I got you. So, I've got all my stuff listed. You have yours. So we will agree that on the Mount Rushmore for 1978, the Cars and Van Halen...
And Dire Straits and George Thorogood. At least we agree on something. Damn it.
There's no fucking way.
Okay, we'll do the two.
They're going on the Mount. I mean, I like Dire Straits, and I like George Thorogood, but they're not like... Yeah, we need some other input. We'll just go with what we agree on. I'll figure out a way to have a little graphic that we have. We still have 2 to fill on that, and then we will ask any future guest if they have any opinions on 1978, and we'll start to build a consensus. And if they all say Dire Straits, then doggone it, Dire Straits is going on there.
Okay.
I'll make sure I mention that Dire Straits has already been mentioned, so don't fucking bother. Anyway, if you listen to this little thing that we do, I'll just say personally, this is Jim, not Mark, that I really appreciate that this is kind of a fun little outlet that we have, and I enjoy doing it. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it or you think we can do something better, just send us an email at theascertainers@gmail.com. And then also, we have social media. We've got Facebook is kind of our primary thing, but let's just go with Facebook.
Yeah, because I can figure out Instagram. And
right.
X, so.
Go on there, and if you can give us a follow or a like or whatever the hell it is, that'd be great. We have little sound bites on there. You can share them with your friends or whatever. That would be fantastic, because we're trying to make sure that Newt's is getting their money's worth out of the sponsorship.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about hitting them up for 2 beers each. Newt's is packed lately. We might have to build a new wing, the Ascertainers wing of Newt's. But anyway, say goodbye, Gracie.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.